Hello, my name is Walter Schultz, president of Shannon, and I designed this boat, Shannon 52 RDP, raised deck pilot. And you might be wondering what we're doing here, that we have a 52-footer and we have a 53-foot motor sailor. They are two very, very different boats, very, very different boats. And this boat I designed so that it would take you anywhere, no qualifiers. Round Cape Horn, round the Cape Good Hope, used to be the Cape of Storms. Take you anywhere in safety and comfort. In one form or another, I've been thinking about this boat for many, many years. I got pages and pages of notes. And the whole object of this boat was to get folks out of the cockpit when the weather is bad. We have inside steering on this boat. I've found, even when I was young, bad weather and even too much sun, just hot weather, never mind bad weather, can be just simply terrible. Makes you tired. You start doing dumb things at the wrong time. So what we've done with this boat is I've tried to accomplish all the seaworthiness that Shannon's famous for, but at the same time address the fatigue elements and also the weather elements, cold and hot, both of them. So we'll try to do a fast look at this deck. I'll try to start up in a bow, do this as fast as I can, talk as little as possible. What you won't see, if you're new to Shannon videos, what you won't see in this video is pretty models and helicopter shots and all the stuff that everybody does in boat videos. The problem with those videos is they all look good, but after you're all done watching them, you don't know any more than you did when you started. Hopefully, our little short video here, you'll have some insight into what the Shannon 52 is all about. We'll start up in a bow, and I'll work my way aft. This forward part of the boat is not very unique to Shannon. I've kept this, and we've been doing this for quite some time. What we have here is two anchors ready to roll. CQR plow type of anchor over to starboard, and right off the bow a Danforth anchor. Always want to have two anchors, and you always want to have two anchors that you can get out very, very quickly if the weather turns bad at 3 a.m. in the morning. And also, you saw the boat sailing, and we have the scudder rig, which gives you the Genoa on the inside, so it tacks right through, big Genoa. And the working jib is forward of the Genoa, and that will tack through the slot, by the way. Contrary, most folks, designers, I think, get this wrong, and they put the Genoa out there, and every time you tack, you have to roll the Genoa up, which seems a little silly to me. So we've got the Genoa on the inside, a real working jib to get you off a lee shore in the event that you have engine problems. Now, we've got two engines on this boat, but nevertheless, that's something I never want to let go of, is a real working jib on the boat. Wide side decks, and you can move around on this boat all the way back to the transom without fighting and stepping all over Genoa cars and stuff in the night that can really present a lot of problems. We'll take a walk back now, and we'll take a look at the aft deck, and then we'll see what we can do about getting, explaining and showing this cockpit arrangement that we have. Hopefully you're able to see an old boat builder be able to walk right down the side decks of his boat without stepping and tripping and climbing over things. Right now I'm standing after the cockpit. This is a nice little sun deck arrangement. The cockpit is raised, as you'll see, so for visibility right over the wheelhouse. And we have all these neat little feature here of being able to step down, big hatch right alongside of me, and we'll bring this camera in, and we'll take a look at the transom, the transom steps, and the life raft. We'll see if we can get this camera in a little closer. The whole design philosophy at the back end of this boat is that if you have the tool, you never need it. It's only the tools you don't have, for sure you're going to need it. And this really applies to an emergency life raft. Life rafts have gotten very heavy, very difficult to move around. And so I designed this so that, God forbid you should ever need to deploy a life raft. All you do is come back here. There's another release inside. You just come back here, and there it is. Hit a strap, it falls onto the door, and you can slide it right off. No lugging, no doing anything dangerous. To get this to get this thing into the water. And then right in front of me here, and this takes up the whole back end of this boat, is a lazarette that has shelves, and I don't know if we'll be able to show any of this with this little camera. It has shelves, it's all rigged up for Sue and Jim. They have folding bicycles that go in here, and fenders, and everything else that you're carrying, including a swim ladder that goes right off here. It took a lot of doing. This is the hardest boat I've ever designed in 35 years. I had pages and pages of notes on what I wanted to incorporate in this boat, and I'm pleased with the way it turned out. I really am. We'll take a look at the cockpit now. An easy step, and you're right in the safety of this cockpit. Actually, this cockpit design I've used it now a whole bunch of times. It's a variation on one in the Shannon 43 and a Shannon 47. It's the same kind of cockpit. It's, gets you right in here, you're safe. We've got little spots all over the place to hook safety harnesses on. You have all the controls, all the gauges, all the navigation equipment that you need right in front of you. Twin engine shifters right here, engine panels right there. I've done this all before. It's a little bit like the anchors up forward. So I've had many years, by the way, over 15, maybe 20, to work out all the geometry and the ergonomics of this cockpit. And I incorporated it all right here in this 52 RDP. We'll get a little better of a look at this cockpit, and then we'll go below. With me out of the way, I hope you can get a little better view of this cockpit. Like I said, I've used this basic design on a whole bunch of boats I've sailed offshore, so a bunch of miles, over thousands of miles with this cockpit configuration, and I've had a lot of opportunity to tweak it and fool with it over the years, and it's truly a lot better than it probably looks in this little camera that we're shooting. This Wheelhouse salon is absolutely my favorite part of the boat. So let me show you the inside steering here. Actually, I guess I have to admit that I designed this entire boat right around this little section that we have here. All the geometries and center of gravities and everything else were designed just so I could be sitting the way I'm sitting here. I've sailed this boat from the inside already, and it's the eye lines, the visibility here. We were out the other day, and it was very, very cold, windy, doing some photo shoots again. And I was in here with the S-bar heater rolling, and it's a wonderful thing. This boat, by the way, has twin screws. And I may not have mentioned that before. Two engines. I've been trying to do that since 1981. Our motor sails have twin engines, and Jim saw that, loved the idea, the redundancy factor, and also the power sailing factor when the winds are light. And so this boat has a pair of Yamaha 75 horse engines in it, and all the controls, everything is right here, obviously. Navigating, everything that you can do out in the cockpit, you can do right from here. And if it's too hot, this being America, you just turn a generator on and snap the air conditioning on. A wonderful thing. It really is. And you have to kind of see this for yourself to see how well this really all works out. I'm very pleased with this whole arrangement right here. Right across from the inside wheel is this raised lounge seating, L-shaped lounge seating. You can be sitting out here no matter what the weather is, hot, cold, rain, it doesn't matter. And especially if you're on an anchorage in some beautiful spot, but the weather isn't so beautiful. And to have a view of the great outdoors and not feel like you're down in a hole or a cave. It's really a wonderment for me to be on a seaboat with this feature. Right across over on the starboard side is a bunk. It slides out as all Shannons do, and the philosophy a good seat is a poor bunk. And for off watch, and also for seating while the boat's underway. We've got several, more than several actually, design layouts for this wheelhouse seating and sleeping area, and it's like everything at Shannon, it's all custom and owner choices. Just aft of the starboard settee and one step down is this real nifty nav area, office area that we worked out very closely with Jim. So have a large chart table that obviously opens for chart storage, and an outboard. We have all of the ship's electric systems and controls, everything sitting right in front of the person sitting at the nav desk. This worked out very well, and the space turned out to be even more effective than it looked like when I designed this on a computer. This is the forward cabin. Like all boats, whenever we try to take still pictures or video, you always wish it was Hollywood and we could pull a deck off. But this is a very, very roomy cabin. We have hanging lockers in this configuration over to starboard. There are upper lockers on port and starboard, bookshelves, drawers, doors, every nook and cranny that we can find and get storage in, we do. It's actually a Shannon trademark. As I've mentioned, I designed this to be a seaboat, and this is the sea cabin. It's over and under berths, and of course all the bunks actually on this boat have lee cloths. The lee cloths are right underneath the mattresses, and they rig up to the overhead so that you can be in here no matter what the weather's out. There's a hanging locker in here and drawers and usual storage that we can fit every place. But this is a very, very critical cabin. I rate this right up there with the inside helm of having a cabin that you can close off and be safe and comfortable and get some rest while the boat is in motion. It's not a bad cabin, even when a boat's not in motion, actually. This is the forward head, just opposite, right across from the sea cabin. And of course we have a vanity in here, and lockers outboard, of course, for linen. And just aft is not only the toilet, but it's also a shower stall. We've used this configuration on a number of boats over the years, and it's really worked out very well because you're not losing a lot of space for just a shower stall that's only used on occasion. Just 2 steps down to the port side is this galley that really worked out very well. You know, I was working with Sue Westgate on this, and it really became a very unique, effective utilization of space. We have a trash compactor, 3-burner stove, propane, of course, deep double sinks, and a huge freezer and refrigerator compartment. And there's lockers and drawers, and a food pantry aft. We were able to really maximize this space, and the little clips that you see for snapping in little fanny harnesses so that no one gets thrown around in a big seas. These folks are talking about doing a transatlantic and doing some extensive sailing up in the Baltic, so we really set this up for some rugged sea use. The aft cabin in this boat really turned out to be palatial. You know, I finally have been able to get to an aft cabin that wasn't claustrophobic and tight and closed, that you didn't want to be there in a boat in motion. We've got 4 opening ports. There's an overhead hatch, a huge king size double here by 6'8" long, desks and bookshelves, lockers, drawers. It turned out to be really much better than it ever looked on a computer, and certainly much better than I could have ever imagined it to be. It turned out so well. And right across from the bed, we have a television for watching TV, watching movies while you're laying in the bunks, and it's turned out to be a very effectual use of space. This is the owner's private head aft, right off the aft cabin, and you know, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to get a sense of space once a boat is built with the deck on, but it's a much roomier head than I had in all the Shannon 51 center cockpit boats I built, and it really worked out very well. And we have a separate stall shower inboard, and typically there's lockers and doors and drawers and a hamper and everything that we could fit in. It came out really nice. The last thing to show you aboard this boat, we're just about done, is the engine access. And I'm back up in the salon right here, and we have a hatch that and nice set of stairs for old folks like me, and step right down in here, and we've got our 2 engines. I know this is going to be very hard to see shooting unless we had a chainsaw here. And yet the space in here is turned out to be truly remarkable, far, far better than I could have hoped for, especially that we have two engines in here. You can check the oil right both sides of me right here. You know, that's a dipstick. No reaching, no fumbling, no nothing. And it you can check the oil. Water's right here. The generator's right in front of me. Uh, this whole layout, and of course there's hatches outboard on both sides of me here for getting to the top of the engine on the other side. It's I just said, and I'll say it again. It turned out to be so much better than I thought when we were laying this out first on a computer, and then as we were doing the mock-ups. This is one of those things where you're going to have to jump down here, jump down a set of steps like I did, to truly appreciate how really wonderful this space is. Well, it's been a long day sailing and shooting this interior, but you know, I hope, and it is a hope that you've been able to get some idea, at least if it's only a vague idea, of how wonderful this boat turned out. Obviously, I'm very prejudiced, but I couldn't be more pleased. I couldn't be more pleased with this 52. I think I said at the outset of this, it was the hardest project and hardest boat I've ever designed, and it certainly was. So I couldn't be more thrilled, not only with the sailing performance, but with the way this interior all worked, the geometry. And, you know, and I'm sitting in this beautiful cabin right now and with windows and light, and yet it's a boat that I could sail around Cape Horn if I was crazy enough to do such a thing. Thank you for taking the time to watch our little video production here, and I hope it's been informative, if nothing else. And thank you for putting up with me and this voice of mine. Hope to see you up in Bristol, Rhode Island. Thank you.